Hello, Red vs. Blue fans. We are back. The Red vs. Blue AFTERBUZZ TV after show is back. We are looking at season 15, episodes 5 through 8, and we will see you after the opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Well, this season took about 5 turns that I wasn't expecting, and I am super excited.
One that we called.
Megan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're taking group credit, but Megan totally called that. She's currently serving somebody. She should be back soon.
Yeah, she's serving someone on the 101. Welcome back to the Red vs. Blue AFTERBUZZ TV after show. We are looking at season 15, episodes 5 through 8. Previously on Reacts, Nightmare on Planet Evil, which is my favorite title this time around, and A Fistful of Colors. Megan Salinas will be with us in just a bit. You can follow her on the social medias at The Menguin. I have with me Mark Donica.
That's me. I am the internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. And the chat's going crazy for this season of Red vs. Blue. It's been absolutely amazing so far, and it's wonderful that we get to talk about it with somebody.
Yes, it is. We have with us our first special guest this season, Joe Nicolosi, the writer and director of this season. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me on the show, guys. I'm really looking forward to talking about Red vs. Blue, which I never get to do.
Never, I'm sure.
So just so everybody knows, we're just talking about Brick Gulch Chronicles, right? That's the only thing that's it?
You're a little behind. Get back in the TARDIS and join us in the present, okay?
No!
Okay. Well, and I am Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have ridiculous jokes, throw them in the hashtag. That is EBTVRVB, or join us in the YouTube live chat. We are keeping an eye on both of those. So, yeah, say fun things. You may well get a shout out. So let's talk about these episodes. I have to start with this, and Megan's going to kill me for starting with this without her, but Deadite camera. Deadite camera during Nightmare on Planet Evil. I just about lost my mind.
Yeah, thank you. That was one idea that I don't want to say like the episode was built around, but that was definitely one where I'm like, oh boy, I can't believe I get to do that. And I can't believe I get to make the sound effect for it too.
How have there been any horror allusions or any references to horror works that people haven't found yet?
I don't know. I read a fair amount, if not all, of the comments, and I don't think there are too many. You know, working within like Halo 5, I'm a little bit limited on how I can reference things.
Sure.
So with Evil Dead, it's easy because that's a big swinging camera move that you can do in Halo 5. But there's a lot of more subtle stuff that I can't do as much with that I would want to otherwise.
What did you want to fit in for this episode in terms of horror movie references and couldn't?
I would have really liked to have had sort of like, I'm a big fan of a lot of horror filmmakers, but especially more recently, I really like Ty West's movies. And he has this way of building really eerie and creepy scenes and movies by having like very slow moving cameras and dollies and really subtle sound design. And unfortunately, like just like moving the camera with moving characters in Halo 5 is a great, big, difficult thing to do. So I haven't been able to do that as much. There was definitely more like Ty West in my head when I was working on this originally.
But that would require more animation than machinimation, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm using it a bit sparingly this season, so I don't have infinity of that.
Okay. Yeah, Megan has joined us. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Not coffee, but deal with it.
Yep, it's not coffee. We got you water.
Good enough.
And Joe has been kind enough to join us for this episode. We're talking about horror movies.
Yay! Hey, Joe.
So do you have any horror-themed questions about episode 7?
Did you guys already ask about the Evil Dead cam?
Yes.
Bet your butt we did.
I led with that because I couldn't not.
Oh, so good.
All right,
Thank you.
While we're talking about this episode, let's talk a little about... We called him Rhino last month, and now he has a name. Spencer Porkinson.
Should laugh at my own jokes. I'm sorry.
Feel free.
Isn't that what that company's built on? Like,
No. Everyone I work with is like, Joe, all you do is laugh at your own jokes. You got to get over it at some point. I'm like, okay.
That's
Yes,
what we do on this
Spencer
panel.
Porkinson.
feel like he has too many syllables, and I love it. It's just wonderfully awkward. What was the inspiration behind him?
So I sort of felt like I wanted the first 4 episodes of the season to act like a complete story in a lot of ways. It's the prologue of the season, and I wanted it to have all the elements that you would want in a compelling narrative. You know, I wanted new heroes, I wanted a new villain, I wanted like tension and suspense and a lot of mystery and a lot of questions being asked. And so when I was working on it, I'm like, you know what, this drama of the Reds and Blues, and you know, are they the real ones or are they not the real ones, is definitely engaging me on one level. There was another level, which is I want a big, scary-looking dude there the whole time as well. And so figuring out then, well, how does a scary dude play into the story and the theme of the story was the next part of that equation. And although I've been calling him BBH in the script, which just stands for Badass Bounty Hunter, the original purpose behind BBH may not be exactly related to the entire story of the season, but it is definitely thematically related to like a big idea I'm trying to get across this season, which is, you know, for every character in Red versus Blue, like certain actions have consequences. And so he's the physical representation of Tucker's being a ladies' man and always wanting to sleep with every woman in the universe. Like, he is consequence taken form for Tucker. So he is related more than just being a stupid joke in episode 7.
That temple, though. And I think I need to leave this question to the table because it wanders into spoiler territory, but do y'all think we'll see him again?
That depends. If we're dealing with the idea that, you know, actions have consequences for the Reds and Blues, I'm sure they've all done illegal things that would require a class action
But
lawsuit.
he works specifically on Chorus, so we would have to go back to Chorus or have Chorus be involved in some major conflict with them in order to see him again. But I think we will at some point.
I will be very surprised if he does not show up either before the end of the season or, depending on how long this arc is, before the end of the arc in general.
I have a question. I mean, again, to the table, and I don't think, obviously,
I mean,
the story
feel
will
free
ever...
to chime in, but we're trying not to put you on the spot.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say a word.
No,
Okay.
I will say it's been a long time since we've had a guest on Skype for one of our after shows, and I caught myself doing what I used to always do, which is just watching the screen while y'all are discussing a thing
with my
going.
fidget cube.
Flip. Oh, damn it! We can't shake him.
Just get some popcorn and be like, well.
It's always kind of weird looking at somebody who can't see us, too.
And Taylor Nicolosi in chat put up what I think was my favorite quote from the episode. Consequences don't always take the form we expect them to. That was from a previous episode. They're funny like that. I think the one that I pulled up for this episode is intention is no matter, only consequence has true form. And I love that we framed that with Dylan right behind him as he's saying it.
Do you think he has that on a poster, like, in his office?
I think he has a little book. Like, just this little book of consequence-themed aphorisms that he just carries in his soft storage.
I mean, you have to pass the time somehow.
It's Spencer's little book of consequences. I don't know. It's got illustrations.
Something you can pick up at a cash wrap, like, ooh, this looks like fun. I can put this in somebody's stocking. Why not?
Exactly. It's by the cash register at the 99-cent store. Along with individual lint truffles and packs of gum. I don't know.
Should we head back to the top?
Yeah, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about 10 months worth of shenanigans during Previously On. And I'm pretty sure we all have a favorite. Joe, I want to know what yours is to start.
Hold on, let me, I think robots fighting dinosaurs is pretty good. The meth shrooms I've been a big fan of. Caboose getting stuck in the upside down actually continues to make me laugh. I was looking through my notebook of rejected ideas for that episode, and there was one that made me laugh, which is I wanted to come up with a reason why they're all still wearing their armor and their helmets, even though they're kind of in retirement. And the idea I came up with is that while they were building their base, Caboose got his hands on a nail gun.
Oh no!
And so everyone, as they're telling the story, would have like nails sticking out of their armor, and that's the reason they have to continue wearing it. But having like little animated nails in everyone's armor all the time turned out to be like way impossible, so I had to cut the joke. But that's my favorite cut joke from that episode.
What other jokes were cut?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I don't have the list in front of me.
And here I said I wasn't going to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. I think I originally had is that they couldn't get along at first on this planet. And so they decided to like break up and all live in their own part of the planet. So they all had a different continent.
Oh no!
Once a month they would get together for like a giant United Nations where they would talk about how Sarge has invaded another continent, and then like how like, you know, basically like a big UN thing, but that became like just a horrible mess of convoluted ideas. So that had to go in the recycling bin for the form it sort of took now.
I was wondering how the brainstorming session for what they were doing in the interim went. Was that refrigerator magnets, or was that like, what is the weirdest thing that these guys can get into, and let's make them do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was, I think a couple of people pointed it out in the comments, but they're sort of saying that it kind of felt like, you know, like a whole season within an episode, which is absolutely the intent. I wanted to have like a season 11 worth of jokes and shenanigans and plot lines, and you just kind of like get it all at once in like a really fast montage, because I love when the Reds and Blues get to act like cartoon characters and they have like their little Looney Tune adventures and they hit each other with giant hammers, you know what I mean? And like, I love all that stuff so much, and I didn't really see in the shape. Can you hear my cat? Is that really
Yes,
we
we
can.
can. And
Special guest.
When Megan
Kitty
and
cat is
I,
precious.
when Megan and I do our
Yeah.
reaction videos, my cat jumps up and talks a lot, so I'm just like, oh, cat.
Okay, I'm gonna kick her out of the room real quick. Get out of here.
No, it's fine. We like your cat. It's okay.
So
Okay,
in terms,
sorry, she's not going anywhere. Anyway,
What's her
I
name?
was talking a lot about how I wanted it to feel like a whole season's worth of jokes, and so I think I just took like 3 days, and I'm like, let's say this was a season, let's come up with storylines for every single character, or let's take a thing about that character and turn it up to 11 and write stories about it. So I did that forever, days and days, and then I took my favorite ideas and I wrote them all down in the script, and I thought, well, I'm going to cut some of these, and then actually nothing got cut in the final
Wow.
cut. Just make it faster. Just make it faster.
What's your favorite one of the ones that stayed in?
The Sarge's War on Gravity is definitely my favorite visual joke, like the Jeep falling off the cliff.
Yeah.
That turned out pretty good. I think, you know, a lot of my favorite things from episodes that have come out are not necessarily the things I've written, it's the things that came out of improv.
Yeah.
So when Simmons says, ooh, I want to go visit, in the Game of Thrones joke, that was just Gus riffing that line. And that became my favorite line from like that scene.
What are your guys' favorites?
Carolina trying so hard to be the best at doing nothing.
Yes. There is no try.
The water park. For the visual gag of everybody joking in Carolina, yay. And then the just like huge zoom on Griff. Then donut, like the deepest hatred.
Follow-up for that being lube isn't normally flammable. Oh my god.
It was just the park part
Talk
that lit
about-
on fire.
Talk about your favorite line in the season. Just lube isn't normally flammable. And I'm like, I don't want to know. If it's catching on fire because of friction, it's not doing its job.
Or is it?
No. There's icy hot and then there's too hot. Don't use icy hot for lube, guys. Just don't.
Where did we just go right now?
The water park. Let's go back to the water park.
We go lots of places. I think I have a soft spot for Wash. So part of me is like, his entire plot arc here is growing a beard, and I am just tickled pink. But I think my favorite is their form of government being malarkey. Like, wordplay, and also, yep, that sounds right. That's completely accurate, dear God.
Yeah, first draft of the script, that scene was actually, because it was like right around the election when I wrote it, and that scene was actually about how they accidentally elected an orange pile of vomit to be their president. And then the punchline was, oh, but at least he didn't win the popular vote. But then the malarkey thing was way funnier and not political, so I went with that in the end.
True.
I miss Uncle Joe.
Topical. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, this is just mostly shenanigans, and I just adore the living hell out of it. And then we hit the very end, which is partially Jack's not having recorded any of it, because film students.
He tries so hard.
And this message from Church, and I wrote down what we got from it. This is Church from Alpha. If you're getting this, it's an emergency. Send help. Please send help. This is doctored as hell, y'all.
I call shenanigans.
Oh, absolutely. Mark?
I don't know yet. I don't know
Too
yet.
early to call.
There's some
for
definitely
sure.
some shenaniganry that I want to talk about when we get further into more episodes, but as of right now, I'm just believing it.
Oh, I'm throwing my flag in the ground on that one. Like, that's the hill that I will die on until proven otherwise.
Not-
This is fake. This is edited. We watched the meta edit a phone message on the fly.
In real
There's
time.
no way that someone who might even potentially have a smart or dumb AI helping them, there's no way that someone couldn't put together something very convincing with footage that we've shown can be found on Sidewinder.
My thing is, again, just kind of going back to the idea that actions have consequences. Church has been killed quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And constant resurrections, like, yeah, I don't, you get into Marvel territory, or like, and I mean comics, not the MCU, where just death has no meaning anymore.
I mean, you can put it in the
Yeah.
movies too. Congratulations, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on being renewed.
yes!
No offense.
Thank you!
No offense. I
So
know you do that
happy.
after show, but
We will have words, Mark.
one of those words being
There.
but
All right, we need to knock down this pillar assault and keep going.
But yeah, I'm down. I'm definitely down with the idea that it has been doctored or altered in some way to openly manipulate them. However, my question is, when writing a scene like this where you know fans are going to sit down and speculate endlessly, like, how satisfying / how much pressure is there when it comes to writing a scene like that?
Well, I think there's, I think there's a lot of pressure writing almost every scene in the show because I'm sort of at any minute thinking, "Go, Jesus, God, don't fuck this up! Don't wreck it! It's the ship has been sailing smoothly for 14 years. Don't crash it into an iceberg." I think every scene I approach is the same sort of thing. That scene in particular, like, I wanted to have a fair amount of weight, and it's a hard tone change from all the silly shenanigan stuff to that scene. So that presents its own challenges in and of itself, and I think that's all I will say about that.
nailed it.
Definitely don't want to know any spoilers for sure.
Yeah. So while we're on it, let's wander into episode 6. React. Let's look at the consequences from the end of episode 5, shall we?
Jeez.
Let's talk about. Let's just go right to it. Let's talk about Griff rage quitting the team.
I think it was bound to happen sooner or later. I'm just honestly surprised it took this long.
Well, I have a friend who Griff is her favorite character, and she wants to say thank you for showing him some love. Red team love in general is kind of hard to come by when it comes to plot-heavy stuff. So, yeah, wow.
Yeah, Griff is, Griff's my favorite character in the show. I think I can safely say that. And I wanted to give him an immense amount of respect this season. And it's really hard to have a character who has this very specific emotional disposition towards everything that happens and continually gets dragged along in every single adventure. And I wanted to think about that a lot with this season.
Because especially retirement is what Griff wants to do, even if it's the same stuff with the same people. It's like, we have no rules, we have no obligations, we're just gonna, it's fine. And then #blue team problems.
It's hard not to agree with his line of thinking.
Why
It's
can't he
always
just stay dead?
But it's always been about church. There's never been a thing except for the first season where it was between like Donut and Caboose, like just trying to fit in. There's never been like a super red team heavy story like this is gonna change the world as we know it. Nope. Sarge, just reload the shotgun. Let's find another robot. Make a new Lopez.
His daddy issues, his ex-girlfriends, his resurrections. Like, Church has... Well, Project Freelancer is the reason that all of this happened, but Church has been the linchpin of a lot of the focus of Red versus Blue, and he's died a lot. The various different versions of him have died a lot. The Jean Grey joke was pretty dang great, though.
Thanks. I liked it too.
Yeah, and I appreciate a story where it shows that that characters have their limit, and because otherwise it kind of gets dull for long running series if characters don't grow and change. And when you've been doing the same stuff over and over again, it's kind of refreshing to see a character hit fatigue and just kind of wash their hands of it and be like, I'm done for right now, guys.
And that's actually ties into a question that I have been asked to ask you. How do you find a way to balance things that people love about the original seasons of Red versus Blue and what we've had before, and while allowing it to grow with the times and with your style?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a delicate balance. I think I wrote a journal right when we started the whole season about sort of my approach with that. And my approach is you guys have referenced comic books before, and I really kept thinking about how much I loved Joss Whedon's run on Astonishing X-Men, because what he did is he took classic characters and made them feel new, and he made new characters and he made them feel awesome. And it was like, I think if you give the characters like your utmost respect and make their decisions real, then I think people are okay if they're doing things they haven't seen them do before. I think if the emotion is genuine and is felt by the audience as well as the character, then that becomes sort of like the guiding staff of what a character arc can become in a season.
And this line between Griff and Simmons, which we see further in episode 7, sort of seems to be an expansion of what we saw in season 14 with them joining Basic. And it's always been Griff and Simmons and Griff, and they're always talking to each other. They always seem very friendly. But their actual friendship, their actual relationship hasn't been put under a microglass. What am I even saying?
But
God,
it has
it's been a long
consummated.
week. Yes, but their friendship has been consummated in some butt stuffy way, in some stuffed into a closet way. I can't. But regardless,
You're welcome.
Regardless, the fact that you're in this approach, you're making people think about something that has been so just there. Is one of my favorite things so far, because Griff and Simmons are two of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I think that I sort of in thinking about the season as a whole, I tried to think about the things about these characters that are inconsistent or in conflict with other pieces of their personality. You know what I mean? Like, Griff always says he's lazy, but he always goes along. Like Simmons is the nerdy goody two shoes, but he always sometimes slacks off and hangs off with Griff and flakes on his responsibility. And it's these sort of contradictions that I think real personalities are born from, and I wanted to definitely explore them in this season. So that's sort of a little bit of where the origin of all that comes from.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice to see, because in seasons past, we've seen Tucker and Church's friendship kind of put under that same scrutiny of who they are when they are apart, and what happens when one of them leaves on not great terms with everybody else, or at the very least without saying goodbye.
And we did that a bit for Tucker and Wash as well in season 11.
Yeah, and so it's kind of cool to see that with, as you pointed out, Mark, two characters who have literally been a pair since the very beginning. And we get constant reminders of that, of Simmons being in the middle of saying hey, Griff, you'd be perfect for, oh wait, that's right. He's just so used to him being there. He has to keep constantly reminding himself that he's not.
And Caboose saying, you talk about him a lot. Do you miss him? Do you? No, we're not friends. Friends are people who have things in common and don't walk away and don't.
No.
Oh, honey.
I mean, that's one of the consequences that I fear is what the consequence of Griff not going along on this adventure is going to be, and if that's going to lead to something bad happening to Simmons.
Well, and what's interesting is he doesn't have a mirror on the Blues and Reds.
I was going to bring that up too.
There's no Griff there.
Yeah, there's no Griff.
Yeah.
There's no sister.
What's
there's
the deal
no,
with that?
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Are we? Since we talked about 7, are we skipping to 8?
We can just talk about things.
Cool. Isn't it weird how they don't have doubles? I found that so weird. There, we talked about it.
Done.
That's it. That's done. We've covered it. It's good.
like, but also to the end of episode 7, Surge being on the planet with them and making sure that they're on the right track to go to their planet. And as you mentioned earlier, I found it weird as well that it's can be public knowledge, all of the records of the Blood Gulch Chronicles that we now have documented in some way, shape, or form. Whether that got out, whether they hacked into that system, it's too convenient that there was more than. It seems plausible, but I don't like it. I don't like that there's more than one and they're that alike. Even though in season 14 we got the thing where there were so many of the same Sarge. It's like they're tricking us, and I say they, Joe, tricking us and manipulating us with what we already know and what we're like. Oh, that makes sense because that thing happened, and the curveball's coming, and we're not going to be looking at it. It's that old saying. I couldn't understand why the baseball was getting bigger, and then it hit me.
We know that there was more than one set of sim soldiers from Project Freelancer. That's been canon, and then season 14 gave us a slew of them. Having one that mirrors almost completely, we don't know if the Blues and Reds ever had a Griff or what happened to them or anything like that.
He's
but
dead
one
now.
that mirrors so closely a location and a group of people that was specifically chosen to shore up the Alpha. Mm-hmm. Like, that group existed for a purpose and was handpicked for that purpose, and now we have a mirror version of them. How and why?
Okay, now that
That's
you're saying
creepy.
it, now that you're saying it, it does kind of make sense that they would have multiple people that were similar, so that if anybody heard a description of the group that was harboring the Alpha, there is a 1 in however many chance that they would find that group instead of Church and the folks that we know.
I really think you're giving the director and the counselor too much credit.
Not you, the director and the story. We'll give you as much credit as you want, Joe.
Director Leonard Church.
Yeah.
That asshole.
I'm trying not to listen to you guys at all.
Just like our viewers.
I'm not registering emotion, although I don't think I'm on this. I have you guys in the tiny window in the corner of my screen, and I don't think I'm on screen when you're talking about things that an emotion may betray something, so we're all good.
We'll betray that emotion if it is betrayed, because we have eyes too.
Excellent poker face.
Yeah.
Although, can I just say that I really don't trust any of these guys. They're funny, and the parallels are hilarious, but I don't know. I can't, and this is why I'm like absolutely, as much as I love mysteries, I'm absolutely beans at like figuring them out, with the exception of when somebody happens to be a lawyer.
You're talking about, yep.
One time.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that was your prediction. That was pretty dang good.
It's the only time I've ever been right.
Nailed Parkinsonson.
No, you got something else right on another show. Wasn't there something?
I'm sure there was one. I'm
There
sure
was
statistically
one other time. Don't worry.
Statistically speaking, it was bound to happen at least one other time. But here, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing an array of possibilities, and it gets into prediction territory. But I look at these guys, and my immediate thought process is that I can't trust them. Mm. And it's just a matter of figuring out their motivation. It's are they resentful because the Reds and the Blues became heroes and they were just regular simulation troopers that got overlooked? Is it something deeper than that? Did Project Freelancer really do something terrible to these guys? I have no idea.
Well, and we have Temple, like, every line he delivers, you can kind of follow it up with, like, when they're not on screen. Great, everything's going according to plan. Or, join us for dinner, we're having fish. Oh my God, your cat is adorable.
Look at the kitty cat.
Oh, no. Hijacked.
I volunteer at a shelter on Sundays, so I'm immediately just like, cat. Yeah, no, that's a good way to derail everything.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
Yeah, we were talking.
Did that happen? I'm sorry.
No. We're just saying.
At all.
This is the cat podcast.
Your evil scheme worked. We were getting somewhere. You showed us the cat. You
Temple.
monster.
Although we do have Arlen on Twitter making a crack about if Church was Jewish. If Church was Jewish, does that make Temple Christian? Which I thought was beautiful.
No, I think that's canon now. I think that works.
You heard it. It's canon.
It also seems like everything that the Blues and Reds were saying was just exactly what they wanted to hear. One of the things that jumped out at me was chorus is fine. All right.
Hashtag fake news.
All right, where is any of that data? Where,
This-
like, here's a newspaper, here's a data pad, here's anything, here's a HoloVid.
And this is what I want to know, because this is the kind of thing that you really shouldn't ask about in Red versus Blue, because it goes into crazy quantum stuff. But the timeline on this. How long has it been since we've dropped Church's message in front of the Reds and Blues and we're here on Andromeda 8? How long has it been? How long have these slip space junks taken? How many stops has it been chasing the signal? Has it been days, weeks, months? How long?
Can we? Is that something that you can answer?
That, or is that just wild theory territory?
I don't think that. I think that it's been a matter of weeks. I think that a lot of movies, like even like Star Wars, like how long does it take them to get from Tatooine to the Death Star? You could say hours, you could say weeks, you could say maybe a month, right? You don't really know. It's not really concrete. I think it is inferred that there are a lot of these relay beacon things, that they've tracked down a whole chain of them, and that finding them probably wasn't too easy. So in my mind, let's just say it's been about 4 weeks and 7 days.
What day is it? Tuesday. I've been here for 13 months. Yeah, okay. That makes a little more sense in terms of, hey, the peace talks have worked. Hey, it's this. I mean, a month for what we're pretty sure is going to be a temporary solution to a semi-permanent problem.
But
It seems like a very short amount of time for peace talks for something as big as we don't want to live in the UNSC anymore, especially since that started the Civil War before the Covenant War happened. It's a big deal.
It makes me wonder if this group of blues and reds, not reds
Blues
and
and
blues,
Blues and Reds.
blues and reds, if they're like where they're getting their intel from, and the answer to that question is maybe this is a group of people that we can't trust them because they're being manipulated.
Possible.
I think they're being manipulated by the UNSC. I think that this faction of Blues and Reds have been eliminating all of the other troopers, and by who better to say, hey, all these other factions are getting eliminated than the people who are doing the eliminating.
And Megan and I talked a little bit about this last night, and I made a comment about I'd need to go back and rewatch episode 1 to see if everything matches up. Everything matches up with that heist. The weapons, the armor colors, the everything. It's pretty much a direct match. So, yeah, I'm still kind of sitting on my theory that these are some former freelancers who went rogue when the Mother of Invention went down and have been using the chaos to just do whatever the hell they want.
And if that's the case, is that them seemingly looking like a group of simulation troopers, are they just playing dumb? Based on the actions of the Reds and Blues, are they just playing dumb so they can play the part of simulation troopers?
It is hard to play caboose level dumb. And I say that as someone who has taken a crack at writing that and who knows a small slew of people who have taken a crack at writing it. I've known maybe 20, 25 people try to do it. I've seen 2 people do it well. So that's not easy. That is some method acting there.
I was going to say,
Done, by the way. Holy cow.
Speaking of, it must be hilarious seeing other actors emulate the caboose style of delivery.
It's really fun. I cut you off a little bit, but yes, it's awesome. We had Joel in the booth to record his lines for, I think, episodes 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And while he was in the booth, I had Kirk Johnson, who plays Loco, standing right next to him, just kind of soaking it all in. And sort of caboose, Joel would just kind of go off on these crazy tangents and do the lines and do it high-pitched and do it crabby. And Kirk was just soaking it in like this amazing sponge. And then we flipped on the microphone for him, and, he's off. It's amazing to watch. And in terms of the other voice actors, the guy who plays Bucky, the other version of Tucker, is actually grew up watching Red versus Blue, and Tucker was his favorite character.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So he is awesome to work with, just because, you can tell, like, he's loving every fucking syllable that he gets to say out loud.
So who is our voice cast for the Blues and Reds? Megan and I picked up on Miles Luna for Cronut.
Miles being Cronut and Gene being Gus again, or at least it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gene is Gus. Miles is Cronut. Surge is Kent Williams, who plays a character on Ruby. Temple is this gentleman, Andrew Matthews, who is a friend of mine, also a writer and director, actor here in Austin. Who have I forgotten?
Bucky,
Loco
his name.
is Kirk Johnson, and
Bucky, we didn't get his name.
Bucky is Dallas. Dallas Reed. Dallas Reed.
All right, well, thank you.
Awesome.
I know there's a lot of people avidly taking notes, including Mark.
Yeah, that's me.
Yes, I don't know.
No, they've done a spectacular job.
Oh my God, yes. It's just been great listening to them go. Mark?
Thanks. I like it too.
It's hard not to go super conspiracy theorist with the fact that Gene is also voiced by Gus, which makes me think that maybe, similar to Simmons, Gene has a soft spot no matter what. If there is a nefarious plot put up by the Blues and Reds, that he might be one to defect to the OG Reds and Blues.
Ooh.
And maybe we lose Simmons.
No.
And it becomes Griff and Gene, and Griff thinks he knows this guy because he's supposed to be Simmons, and there's a new budding friendship. I told you, conspiracy theory.
Wow, you went dark.
I was going to ask if you had refitted the studio, the engineering room, with just a giant board filled with string connecting.
That's the white room, actually.
Red string and
That's the white room.
Awesome.
We have Taylor Nicolosi in chat asking if Bernie voices Lorenzo, and Malachroma says that Kent Williams voices Gira Belladonna in Ruby.
Oh, Gira, jeez.
Yes, Bernie is Lorenzo. Originally, I wanted to do that part. I had him read the line just as like reference audio, but he struggled so much with the Italian that it was hilarious to me, and I decided just to keep all his temp audio in there because he's gotten like decent at bad Spanish, but man, his bad Italian is so much worse. And all his lines really crack me up because you can hear the pain in his voice as he's speaking them out loud.
I think that's the best thing I've heard tonight.
Oh, that is fantastic.
All right. I feel like we've covered a lot of the big points. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on for these episodes?
Just that like I said, I don't trust these guys, and one of the last things that we see Temple do before the final episode ends is plant doubt in Tucker's mind about Dylan.
You're going into another episode.
No, I'm not.
This was
at the end of this one. Is plant doubt because of her connection with the bounty hunter, which again was pure random happenstance. But as we see here, it could just be, again, assuming these Blues and Reds are on the level and on the up and up. Then it could just be a coincidence that he brings that up, or just maybe he doesn't trust somebody who's not another simulation trooper. If he is a bad guy or a former freelancer or somebody being manipulated by the UNSC, who don't you want there? A reporter.
This is true.
I feel like they're going to actively try to either ditch Dylan or straight up, I don't know, shoot her when her back is turned. I don't trust him.
Also, when did Church get the light blue armor? Because I know he always had light blue, and maybe it's just the colors have changed from Halo to Halo to Halo. But I remember okay, all right, because I remember being a lot darker in the first 5. And like, if they're supposed to be simulation troopers, why wouldn't it be? Why aren't they all red and blue? Because everybody was red and blue in the simulation, and then they changed their colors. Isn't that true? Like any new recruit?
Not necessarily. I don't
clearly.
We had
And
Tucker
because
with the
they-
armor swap
Yeah.
with Florida. And we had Donut change up his armor, but I think that's the only...
But even the fact that Tucker like the person that was supposed to be Tucker should have Tucker's original armor, but they doesn't. He has his most recent armor in order to be a more accurate facsimile. Donut should be red, or Cronut should be red. And Loco was still blue
I
because
feel like you need to get out of the conspiracy room.
Yeah, no, give me the yard.
people are making all of the references back to the original seasons, and I'm like, this is like it fits too conveniently.
What I'm
Isn't that what
worried
we're
about
supposed to
is-
do? Damn it! Is that what this show is all about?
One thing I will say about the colors, which is not the most fun in the world, is that in Halo 5, the characters of people's armor changes not only map to map, but where you stand in a map.
Oh my god.
Oh, with lighting and such?
A lot of times, Simmons looks like Sarge, like he's just freaking red, just like red.
Wow.
There's like no hint of maroon at all in there. And so pretty much every shot that Simmons is in has to be manually color corrected, manually color shifted,
Holy
so that he
cow.
actually looks like the right character. And that's something that's actually easiest to do with the red team. With blue team, with Tucker and Church, those with Temple, I would not choose those colors. If I had a Pantone selection in front of me. It's just sort of like the cards were dealt with Halo 5 and the weird kind of shaders they put on all their lighting everywhere.
All right, I appreciate that.
Little Megan the sausage for you guys.
Case it up.
Well, we
Hey,
appreciate it.
can I share my conspiracy theory?
Please.
Go fight, win.
I mean, no one is talking about Jack's theory that maybe this whole thing is just a movie that he's making. Let's throw that out there.
That's like Deadpool wrote Deadpool.
I actually think that would be hilarious if that's how this season ended, was Jax being the hero of the story and saving the Reds and the Blues and Dylan, and the reason he's the hero is because he's retelling the events.
Well, I mean,
Oh my God.
that's kind of an illusion. Like Mummy 3 starts with the replacement actress reading a book that's supposed to be the first two movies, which is why she's a different person.
Which is
I'm
why
sorry, I don't watch movies that
I
don't
don't either.
exist.
I don't either. That's the only thing about that movie that went, oh, that's a pretty smart way to do that.
It
Still
doesn't
hate
exist.
it.
It's
Anyway.
like that fourth Indiana Jones
But,
movie that
okay.
they never made.
All right, let me adjust it. Let me put another piece of foil on my hat
Sorry, I just
because
saw red. My apologies, Mark.
You heard her.
there were abominable snowmen in that movie. Anyway, in our first after show, I talked about how we had Davy J as the original cameraman, and it's like, oh, that's maybe it's a thing. He's too good to sort of be left behind, and I still think there might be something there. But we got another Day 5 reference
Yes!
in episode 7, which
was beautiful.
is a lot of fun. But I'm like, man, they're trying to keep Day 5 in our heads.
Hold on. Sorry, David J. What's that?
Davy J.
Davy J. What's Davy J? Sorry.
That's okay. The actor who played the cameraman, the original cameraman in the first episode.
Okay. Oh wait. Are you talking about Frank?
Yeah,
Yeah.
about Frank. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I actually not seen everything that Rooster Teeth's ever made, so
That's
I wasn't aware that there was even a Day 5 reference before my attempted takedown of that show.
Ooh, that's
It was
good.
beautiful. We actually, I had 3 different people ask me, do you voice Jax? And if you don't, do you voice a character? And if so, who is it?
Oh yeah, Jax is me. I mean, it's not even a character. That's just me. That's just who I am. I just inserted myself into the show. Yeah, no, I'm Jax. I sort of assumed that I would be voicing a part because, you know, like Bernie made himself the main character and Miles made himself this awesome villain. So I was gonna be like the film school idiot who only wrecks things and never really contributes.
I love your
I
Wilhelm
feel like that's
scream.
an appropriate part for me to play.
I love your Wilhelm scream.
Thank you.
It's not easy to do.
We'll just add it in post. If Jax dies, though, he better die with a Wilhelm scream.
I know, right?
I'm writing all this down. I haven't written the last couple episodes, so this is good. This is good stuff here. This is good stuff. Donut is definitely gonna say, "Don't use icy hot as lube." That's definitely going in the show.
Don't say this show didn't ever do anything for the Red versus Blue universe. I mean, we can give you our numbers after the show. I mean,
we'll chat. We'll do lunch sometime.
We'll be in Austin for RTX probably. So I mean,
what do you mean probably? We're gonna be there. Oh my God!
We'll meet you at Torchy's.
If that actually makes it in the show, I will lose my goddamn mind. You heard it. It's an AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive. Because we don't have the sound. We don't have the soundboard.
We don't have the soundboard.
I'm the soundboard.
You are the soundboard.
Yeah.
You're the best soundboard.
Oh my
You do so good.
Jesus Christ.
The other thing that I kind of want to poke at is they're in an underground base, and we have something that is supposedly their cloaking device, but it's this huge machine, and we're not supposed to touch it. So that machine's going down before the end of the season. Like, just gonna stick the sticky note on that there. It's doomed.
This is
also,
the same group,
what is it?
This is the same group of people that totally took down an entire ship because they all individually did something terrible. That if it's a
just
cloaking
tripped
device
over
or
a
a power
cord.
generator, they are going to destroy it.
We have Caboose in stereo on board. It's going down.
I don't think it's a cloaking device, though, or if it is a cloaking device, they're not being forthright with what it is they're doing. Or
If we think the Blues and Reds are on the level, it's a cloaking device. If we don't, it's obviously not.
Quick question,
If
though.
we think Temple is the only one of the Blues and Reds who's not on the level.
Quick question, though. The group of people who came and attacked them in this episode, do we know for sure that that is, in fact, the UNSC, or could those have been, like, a group of mercenaries?
I want to bring that up. I think that might be the rest of their group. I think that was all an inside job just to be like, it's really unsafe. We gotta get below the surface.
Oh no, we're being attacked.
Like,
Shotgun!
You have to trust
like
us.
we need to leave now. And also, well, I guess I was gonna say there were no bodies, but Toker totally threw a body out of that plane.
Yeah, no, they did.
Before Hoganing. But yeah, it's
Super dead.
then I still think that was an inside job too. But in terms of the machine, that might be their Vic.
I think Dylan has Vic.
Yeah,
Living in
was,
her AI storage
That was
space.
one of the theories that we got tweeted at us. That was put in our comments
like
last
that.
episode.
Ooh, look at
Yeah.
the kitty.
Damn it.
Well, and that's
We're on the
also-
right trail again.
I have an AI. He's a dumb AI. It's a him, and she doesn't want to talk about where she got it.
Yeah.
It's
$10 says it's Vic.
Oh, I'm not taking that bet. That's a sucker bet.
Stop.
Stop it.
I say, like, this series hasn't been like, here's point A, here's point B, but we're going to point J, despite Occam's
I
razor.
was right about one thing. I'm on a hot streak.
Don't screw up the streak, Aaron. All right, we are running a little short on time, so I feel like this is probably a good time to swing into predictions.
And now your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
But we don't get a light show this time.
That's
Oh well.
what jazz hands are for.
So let's talk about your red thread and pushboard conspiracy theories. Let's talk about what we.
Let me
think
get
is
it. It's under the
coming down
table.
It's small enough to fit under the table.
And big enough.
No, it unrolls.
It's in a pocket universe. I mean, I essentially said all of the dumb ideas that I have, but it's like the fact that like the production notwithstanding, the armor colors don't all necessarily match, and it's too clean. It's too clean.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like this is all an act.
And why
I
does
really do think that it's rogue freelancers doing this because they have access to that information. They were on Sidewinder, so who says that they couldn't pull the call log that Dylan also got?
They got the
Like,
FTP server with all of the footage on it?
Yes.
Why not? But
I don't see why not.
Why does every other other character have a different weapon, but Temple has a sniper rifle? Like why is that the same, but the other stuff isn't the same?
Which he's not great with it either.
I am also down with the theory that the rest of the Blues and Reds are sim troopers and are on the level, and Temple is something else entirely.
Dance, puppets, dance.
Well, also
Exactly.
why don't they have
A Griff.
well, no, not why don't they have a Griff? Yes, but also why didn't they just make a team full of all of these donut-esque people that can't die? That seems like the smartest idea. You got a bunch of like-minded guys for one goal, and they can't die?
We've had like 4 resurrections in this series, and Donuts is the only one where I'm still just like, no, I need an explanation.
But even in this episode, they get blown sky high. Wilhelm scream, "What up?" And then they're back and they're fine.
Probably, my guess is that the reason they don't assemble a team of donut-like individuals is because even though you can't kill them, nothing's ever going to get done. Unless
true.
you're looking to, decorate your living room or,
Burn down a
garden.
water park.
They would
down the
have
water
clashing visions, though. Could you imagine? It's like one of those. They'd have their own HGTV show, and it would just. I don't even know, man. HGTV After Dark.
I would watch that show.
I would too. HGTV After Dark.
Starring Donut? Absolutely.
Starring Donut, Cronut, and I don't know, Blownut. It's like Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Lord in heaven.
Welcome
Where
to Dunkin'
are we
Donuts. We
again?
just introduced the blow nut. If you would, it comes in grape.
It has
Jesus
Pop Rocks
Christ.
in it.
Grape blow nut. I'll take a bacon.
Look at all the things I will never regret saying, but will live on the internet forever. That's my entire hosting career.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Other theories.
How are you doing, Joe?
No, we got.
Hold it, hanging in there.
So are our viewers.
Is there anything that you would like to say, anything you would like to say to us or the fans or anything like that, that we haven't covered that you'd like to address? Just throwing it out there.
Probably, I mean, it probably goes without saying, but, like, this has pretty much been the most fucking awesome thing that I've gotten to do, like, ever. Some days I'm, like, amazingly, overwhelmingly stressed out, and I'm just, like, a big ball of anxiety and nerves. But anytime I'm not, like, ugh, I'm pretty much like, hey, this is fucking amazing. Look what I get to do. I get to record these fucking guys. So it is, just awesome to work on, and I'm really glad that people don't seem to hate me completely.
Wait
yet.
till the season's over.
There we go.
Trenton Dixon in the chat wants to know how many episodes we're getting this season, if you can answer that.
Ooh, I thought I responded to that on chat, but I'll do it live and say we just finished recording episode 15 at 10 this morning. So that takes us through for about 3/4 of the season. So we just released episode 9 on Rooster Teeth and 8 on YouTube. So we are about 7 ahead, I guess, right? If I can math. Yeah. That's
Okay.
math.
And do you see this being contained to one arc? Do you think it'll go on to multiple arcs? Are you allowed to say?
I'm happy to say that I wrote this as a completely self-contained season. So
Cool.
beginning, middle, and end all in one season. So this is not part 1 of some trilogy. This is literally its own complete story. And we'll see what happens in the future. I have a lot of ideas for what could happen next that would be related to events in this. So it would not be something that lives on its own and is just an island. But this is definitely kind of treating it like a movie. This is you're getting your 5-act movie structure in the course of this entire season.
If you had the opportunity, would you want to do another Brick Gulch Chronicles, like regardless of the workload of stop motion?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I didn't have to animate it, heck yeah, I'd do the whole thing. Stop motion. And if I have to play with fucking Legos one more time, no. Oh, it's pure torture. It's Chinese water torture. It's absolutely grueling and horrible, and I'm still got like a kink in my back from the Brick Gulch Chronicles last year.
You just need to get a small group of kids to do all the posing.
Yeah.
Child labor.
Kids are known for being very patient and sitting in a room for 14 hours doing very exact, precise work. So yeah.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Enough Ritalin they are.
And then actually, we've gone through most of the questions I have on my list because you're amazing. The last one I have is, who is the most difficult character to write, who's the easiest, and who's your favorite to write? Three-parter.
I would say my favorite to write, I really love writing for Sarge. I really love writing for Sarge because his lines are long, and a good Sarge line will contradict itself about halfway through. So he'll start saying one thing, and by the time he finishes talking, he's contradicted the first thing he said, and I love writing those kind of like weird verbal tongue twisters. I really like writing lines for Wash because he gets to be a smartass and he's actually smart. And I really love writing for Griff because I feel like that's just like the inner monologue most of the time. Sometimes it's hard for me to write. Caboose is not the character I have the easiest time with, especially because, like I said, I'm trying to write this movie like a season, and a lot of scenes are very focused. This is what's happening in this scene. This is what is driving the plot forward. And Caboose is really good about tangents and taking hard left turns when what we really need to do just go straight. And so he doesn't always fit into the kinds of scenes that I'm trying to write. And I think I have a really I shouldn't talk it up too much and hype it, but I had a bit of a breakthrough with Caboose, and I think I got a pretty good one coming up sooner or later. And I'll just say that. I think it's decent. I think it's pretty good. I think it's awesome. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty okay. Who else? No, that's pretty much it. And then Donut. Donut's not the easiest for me to write for. It's just not my. I'm not like Bernie writes really good Donut. Miles writes pretty good Donut. It takes me a little bit of time. I have a lot of index cards full of innuendos, which is again why I appreciate that icy hot comment, because I'm just right. It's like just a lot of placeholders right now in the script.
So it's an innuendo.
Fuck!
That is why you keep me on this panel.
You lead it. We can't leave.
I've locked the door. You're not escaping.
Oh no.
Yeah, that pun was, I think, the best thing I had for the night. So, you guys have anything else to say? Any other questions?
I mean, not without going into I can't answer that territory. So
This is
we've
true.
we've learned our lesson.
The only other thing
Have
I
we?
want to say is thank you for writing Dylan, because
Yes!
I'm always about more interesting female characters in Red
Shut up.
vs. Blue, and I find her fascinating and flawed in a way that we haven't seen in other female characters in this show. So thank you for writing her, because I thought she was a great addition.
Thank you. That's really wonderful to hear. I really appreciate that.
And congratulations on making us mistrust and doubt everyone.
Not just on the show, everyday life. Anybody who wears like a light teal or a light blue or anything, and especially if they're carrying a sniper rifle and they're walking down the street, I don't trust them. That's
You
just
realize you're wearing a light teal. And the people who are listening on iTunes are like, what?
That's why I made sure to go against the. Yeah, whatever. Sorry for your
Speaking of
ears.
which, I'm going to take a whole 30 seconds to talk to you guys about iTunes. Thank you to everyone who has rated and commented and subscribed. You are the reason that we get to stay on the air as an after show, because when you do all those wonderful, lovely things, our producers take a look at those comments, they take a look at those ratings, and they say, hey, people really like the show, we should bring it back, so we get to come back. And then also when you leave those really good ratings, people who are looking for Red vs. Blue stuff or for AfterBuzz stuff on iTunes have an easier time finding us, because higher ratings bump us up in the search. Is one of you guys able to pull up iTunes, because my iPad hates
Nope.
life?
Nope.
Nope? Okay.
Double dose next week. Or next month.
We'll get
In 4 weeks' time.
Or if we can get a guest within the next month, and then we do
That
like a
too.
separate satellite episode.
That too. We are really running out of time, and we back up to Steven Universe, which has 9 episodes to cover this week. So we do
boy.
need to wander on out fairly soon, but we do give shout outs to people who leave reviews. If you leave a review that's not in the American iTunes Store or is in the Google Play podcast area, take a screen cap of it, throw it in the hashtag ABTVRVB. We do like looking at those. You do get a shout out for those. We do read those. We love you all. Also, if you want to discuss things with us during the 4 weeks when we're not on the air, because this is an every 4 week after show, we do check the hashtag, you guys. Throw it in the hashtag. We do discussions. We love you guys.
And
It's
our
great.
group Twitter account as well.
absolutely yes.
All right, Joe, have you got anything else to say?
No.
No, not at all. We're done.
Oh,
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, absolutely. That was awesome.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Is there any other projects that you can talk about that you wanna put over, talk about, and where people can find you on social media?
No. This is my whole life. I dream about it. I think about it morning, noon, and night. My wife's sick of hearing about it. This is literally my whole world. So yeah, I got nothing.
Well, this has been a vision. We're not real. None of this actually happened. You should probably get some sleep.
The doctors have been trying to reach you. You've been in a coma for a year. This is the only way we could think of to
Here's
know.
my ending. Thank you.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Wake up, Jack. Wake up.
And then you wake up in your chair and you're in the middle of machinimating the next season of Red
No!
vs. Blue.
Endless loop.
Or worse, the Brick Gulch sequel.
No! But yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for actively taking part in our live chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, absolutely. No, this is great.
Yeah, feel free.
I love talking about this stuff.
Feel free to join us next time or whenever you'd like to. We would absolutely love to have you.
Do you always do 4 episodes?
We do.
We do this season.
Cool.
I will
So you can
have
do the
my
next
people.
one after 12, huh? Just thinking about that. Interesting. Okay, interesting.
I'll have my people call your people, and we'll figure something out.
Sounds great.
I don't have people. I do the calling.
Damn it, we're in Hollywood.
Thanks again for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
See you next
Have
time.
a great
right.
night. Thank you.
Disconnect.
Disconnect.
Or you're
All right,
welcome to stay through the sign.
We gotta go. We gotta speed.
All right, Megan, where can the people find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out, and be sure to also check out the latest episode of the Shadow Radio recreation that just came out yesterday. Please.
And I'm the internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. I'm on all of the wrestling I'm a part of all of the wrestling program here on AfterBuzz TV. We also have stuff on Popcorn Talk. I've got Video Game Movie Anatomy. Next week we're talking Tekken, and we're probably going to be doing something for E3. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Jedi Alliance. Every week we're talking Star Wars. And yeah, AfterBuzz TV is a great network. You should subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on iTunes and everything. Follow our group Twitter at ABTV Rooster Team. It's getting closer and closer to RTX. We're almost a month away.
We're going to RTX, you guys. We are
Yeah.
gonna be there. It'll be great.
We've got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. So,
Yes, we do.
and also we're determining our schedule for the Camp After Show, which is returning. So make sure to follow us at ABTV Rooster Team or me at Mark B. Donica. Thank you, Katie.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias and on YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you want to watch Megan and I react to a good number of Rooster Teeth Productions, they live on that YouTube channel, so feel free to watch them there. Other shows, Robots in Disguise is on Tuesdays, Attack on Titan is on Mondays, and if you're a Steven Universe fan, we're doing that next. We are literally staying in the same studio to talk about Steven Universe. So
I'm getting
tune
out of
to
here.
that. Life is going to be great. Donica's leaving us because that is life. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in 4 weeks for the next 4 episodes.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Wash grew a beard.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.